December is best known for holiday celebrations and merrymaking. In the Philippines, it's also recognized as Energy Consciousness Month. To tell us more is DOE Energy Utilization Management Bureau Director Patrick Aquino. Welcome to the final word, sir.
Good evening, Ms. Menshu, and thank you for having me.
Well, first off, what is the Energy Consciousness Month? What is its significance?
Well, the significance of the National Energy Consciousness Month, which coincides with the anniversary of the Department of Energy, is reminding the public to be more mindful of their energy consumption. It comes really at the end of the year when there's an opportunity for most of our kababayans to purchase, for example, new appliances. So part of our messaging every December is that when you purchase appliances, choose the more energy efficient ones. And to guide the public in that regard, we do have energy labels, those tags that are colored blue and yellow that you find in most appliances. Of course, you always go for the higher number or visually the more number of stars within the range of 1 to 5.
All right, but what are the usual challenges encountered by Filipinos, when it comes to saving energy, especially in rural and far-flung areas? I mean, how can our kababayans overcome these?
Well, overcoming the challenges when it comes to the availability of energy access, part of our messaging, of course, every December, is that we highlight the activities being done by the government through the Department of Agency and its partner units, whether in the public and private sector, in achieving, of course, our full electrification, making sure that every Filipino household would have access to electricity. That's what we're doing. But for areas that do have electricity, what we're reminding everybody is, of course, to be mindful of using it, to use it wisely. Because when you do save electricity, it's not only saving the environment, it also has a practical effect. It lowers your monthly expenses. So that's essentially what we're conveying all throughout our activities in this month.
But what about our kababayans who are, a little bit better off in life and don't really worry so much about the bills? How is the government promoting energy efficiency to that demographic?
For that demographic, of course, we're encouraging them to always keep their appliances up to date, meaning there are technological advances when it comes to air conditioners, for example, refrigerators. There are now inverter technologies available. They're still coming at a premium, but given that these appliances are regularly used, what we're relaying to those who have the ability to upgrade is to upgrade now, because as years progress, technology improves, the more efficient products in the market typically consume at least 10 or up to 20% less consumption. In the span of 3 or 5 years, there are improvements. So for those types of consumers, of course, we're encouraging them to choose wisely, start investing, because those are also savings that flow back to their bottom line, so to speak.
Well, this month is full of celebrations, from parties to reunions, and you can definitely tell that with the traffic situation in Metro Manila right now. How can Filipinos remain mindful of their energy use while, still having fun and enjoying the season?
Yeah, when it comes to, of course, having for fuel transport, our message is always to make sure that your tires are proper pressure. You don't do defensive. Your driving skills are on point. Because the stop and go traffic, when we do not drive as well as we do, it also consumes a lot of electricity. We encourage people to do carpooling, of course. Those are the practical things that we're doing with respect to mitigating costs as well as traffic. So that's one thing of our kababayans can do, more practical thing. If it's public transport is not available, maybe you should consider doing carpools. But for those who are doing the celebrations, of course, our reminder all throughout the years that once the singing stops, we turn off the appliances that we are not using. The Christmas lights, for example, let's try to turn it off when we're going to sleep, because appliances that are left turned on and nobody's really using it consume additional electricity. And there are those appliances, of course, that also have standby power. So it's best that we unplug or we switch off the power strip so that every ounce of electricity that is drawn by these appliances are turned off effectively when we're not using them. So
So
those are our practical tips for the holidays.
yung mga what they call the energy vampires. And speaking of Christmas lights, there are also those the solar ones now. They gather energy during the day and then they light up once it's dark, right?
That's right. And of course, we continue to promote, of course, apart from the energy efficient items, we continue to push for renewable energy. Again, for our demographics who can afford to have the installations, you might want to consider putting in your investments in solar PV rooftop installations. The payback period, you'll be surprised, is higher than your average interest rates in the banks if you just put it in the bank. So you might want to consider installing solar PV via net metering. It's not only helpful for the environment, it's also good for your bottom line. So that's another tip.
And what
Miss
other,
Menchu.
very quickly, what other, simple lifestyle changes can you recommend to all of us so we can better save energy, not just this Christmas season, but all throughout the year?
I already mentioned, Miss Menchu, is that you switch off, you turn off the appliances when not in use.
That's right.
They are energy vampires, as you mentioned, and of course, our reminder, for example, for our air conditioners, that you set it at no lower than 24 degrees Celsius. Each degree lower than that, that's an additional consumption. So we're encouraging that as well. Make sure that what you call this, the filters of the electric fans and the air cons are properly cleaned, properly maintained, because every little thing, the dust that gathers, if it's not properly maintained, of course, the engines are not working as efficiently as they should, and they also add up to consumption. And most importantly, during daytime, you can use all of the passive light, all of the passive cooling that's available, and just switch on or turn on those appliances when you really absolutely need it.
All right, thank you for joining us, DOE Energy Utilization Management Bureau Director Patrick Aquino.